Welcome everybody to the Wake Up Call channel. Cardi B, ladies and gentlemen. Some of you are familiar with Cardi B. This is apparently a musician. We're supposed to believe an artist. But for those of us with actual eyes, what we see and what we hear is the sound of a shrieking demon and the vision of a disturbing, disgusting, demonic creature that has taken over what appears to be flesh. But anyway, Cardi B has a new music video, and I have to cover it because this is to do with our friend the Black Goo. And it's so right in our faces that, well, you got to see it to believe it. Now, Cardi B is another one of these Illuminati puppets they want you to believe is from rags to riches. I don't understand how anyone actually thinks that these people are talented. It doesn't matter what they are, what skin color they are, from Machine Gun Kelly to Cardi B to Kanye West. The things that they speak about in their songs. I mean, can I read you some of the inspiring lyrics before I show you the connection to 5G and Black Goo? I'll just replace some of the curse words with, whatever. So she says, these are the lyrics from the song. And this is how they dumb down societies, by beating this type of crap into people's heads. And of course they use subliminal mind control methods, and they put in words as well, like Glock and 9mm and all this other stuff. It's just a massive mind control operation. Anyway, this is some of the lyrics. Now this is that hot shark. Jimmy Snuka off the top rope. Superfly shark. Might get in the tub with all my ice on, some pock shark. Either way you slice it, bottom line, I'm the top biatch. I mean, oh my goodness. Yes, you should make millions of dollars. Like, people out there actually think, and then they write their own music, and then they put it on YouTube. And like, maybe I could become famous because they see, everybody else doing it. And they're just like, wow, Cardi B's so talented. I wish I could be. What? The job of these social engineers is to dumb down society. That's why we are where we are. Look around you. We have walking, talking zombies regurgitating stuff like this with nothing going on in their head. So Cardi B, we've seen in the past, dress up as the devil, pay homage to the Baphomet. And I can't show you some of the photos in the video because it's just disgusting. But Cardi B starts off this video, and where is she? Oh, she's on top of a 5G tower, ladies and gentlemen. She's on top of a 5G tower. Well, where have we seen this before? You might remember I covered the show Lucifer, where Lucifer actually uses the 5G tower in the show as his throne, as Satan's throne, Lucifer's throne. The 5G tower must be a coincidence, of course. Now we know that in Ephesians chapter 2, verses 1 through 2, and you were dead in the trespasses and sins in which you once walked, following the course of this world, following the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that is now at work in the sons of disobedience. The prince of the power of the air. What is music? How do you hear music? People don't realize they're frequencies in the air, right? Well, it's everything to do what's going on right now with the outbreak with the 5G and with things that people are putting inside of their body. So we have her on top of a 5G tower. There's a reason that that's perceived as the throne. Now, 5G might not be the end game. Many of us know that 6G is right around the corner. That number 6 is a number we're all very familiar with, a certain number that starts with 6. But she's on top of that, right? Then she talks about, as you could hear here, she mentions, gonna connect.
I'm connected. I'm connected.
Right? So she's talking about connecting as these two, out of nowhere, she's just got two robots right next to her, right? As she's catching fire. I mean, you could look at it many different ways. Some people say, well, you're stretching there. Well, how would I be stretching how would this music sit? This music video is called Hot Shark. And it really is a hot piece of shark. But how would this even correlate with what's occurring here? What does it have to do with two robots? What does it have to do with 5G towers? So as this continues on, we then see this ferrofluid, this graphene oxide, we see this black goo. Let's just call it that. The black goo, we see it going up and down, right? You've seen this before? Is this art? Because I'm pretty sure it's not art. I'm pretty sure we see it all the time. And if it was art, it would be something completely out of right field, creative. No. We see it with all these musicians now. Lady Gaga. How many things have I covered with Black Goo? 1 million. And I'm sure you've seen many other videos covering the Black Goo. So we see Kanye West appear with a veil over him again. This is his new thing where he wears a paper bag pretty much over his face, which we're all fine with. But he's really referencing wearing a veil because the veil is over everybody. Right? What does the Bible say about a veil? I've said it many, many times on this channel. It is a very important Bible quote. Isaiah Chapter 44, verse 18. They have not known nor understood, for he has shut their eyes that they cannot see and their hearts that they cannot understand. That's what we're witnessing right now. Where Satan has shut people's eyes. They are completely oblivious to what's going on. And when people stumble upon stuff like this, people like us talking about it, it's almost like their soul is pulling at them to believe it or to listen. And they automatically have this defense put into them, ingrained into them through the mind control, where they go, that's conspiracy stuff. Oh, yeah, Illuminati and all this stuff. And they automatically just dismiss it. That's how they've been programmed. Because Satan has put a blind over them, a veil over them. He has shut their eyes. So as they continue on here, we see even, you could see lasers, right? And people would look at that in the music video. They'd be like, oh, laser beams. Or is it somebody's like, someone wants to shoot this, clueless rapper who is completely untalented and nobody can understand what he's saying. So he wants to shoot him. He's got all these, it's that cool. He's got all the, the bullseye on him there. No. This is referencing the frequencies in the air. This is the things that you can't see. See, people hear music. They don't think anything about vibrations and frequencies and these things they could use to control your mind, which I'll show you in a minute for those of you that don't know. They don't think about that stuff at all. All they think about is it cool? Let me get it back on my phone. They're completely out. They're not, I don't want to say out of touch with reality. They're not here. And we have to try to get them awake so that they can come back to reality. So as this guy, of course, is rapping, Cardi B is rapping, we also see a lightning bolt. This again referencing scripture, Luke chapter 10, verse 18. And he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven, which is why you always see lightning. Most commonly in music, AC/DC, lightning bolt. Kiss, lightning bolt, right? Marilyn Manson constantly with the lightning bolt, even referencing himself as the Antichrist. Always a lightning bolt, but people don't use any sense. They're just like, wow, lightning's cool, They must be storm watchers. They travel around and they always have the Weather Channel on, and whenever they go to a hotel, they make sure they have the Weather Channel. Not because they care about what weather's coming. They just want to see some lightning. I mean, really? These videos are just filled with signs and symbols to tell you what's going on, because this is how sigil magic, and this is how black magic really works. They reveal all this stuff to you. They're doing it right in front of everyone's face. It's just nobody is on the same frequency level because everybody is just turned off right now. And we need to turn people back on into this reality, into this realm that is completely corrupted, that is completely under control, and show them this stuff so that they can realize that everything is a deception that's going on right now and everything is a lie. And that the Bible is the only truth in this world. And God tells us that constantly in Scripture, that Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. The truth. Because he's the only truth. So let me show you this, because some of you might remember Astro World, right? So let's just recap here. We have Cardi B sitting on top of the 5G tower, right? We have her talking about connecting, and then we have this black goo just pumping up, right? And people see it, they're like, oh, it's just going with the beat, man. It's just pumping with the beat. And I've talked about Astro World before. You remember that thing with Travis Scott and the Kardashians, of course, because the high Armenian witches are connected to all this stuff too. Very much so. And the thing that occurred at the concert where people were trampled, a lot of people died, supposedly. And a lot of us felt like, well, there are ways that they can use frequencies to control people's behaviors. And if people have some type of magnetic thing inside of them and their bodies, which bodies naturally produce energy, and they have this magnetic energy that can be controlled, like a controllable, programmable matter, and they use the frequencies of 5G or even just sound and music to amplify this, then these things could turn into like zombie-like creatures or become rabid. And this is, just a little talk about frequencies.
Program. Music is frequency. What frequency are you being fed? If I play with those frequencies, right, I can target certain parts of the mind, target the frequency to go to certain parts of the mind, and I can literally, if I want you to astral project, or if I want you to go to sleep, or if I want you to go into a meditative state, I can make my music do that.
The brain processes information electrically. It communicates with the cellular structure electrically, and it operates within a certain band of frequency. If you can broadcast frequencies carrying information, this technology has long been known, carrying information and perceptions within the frequency that the brain decodes information, the brain will decode those frequencies and will have those perceptions You can externally influence people's perceptions externally by broadcasting these frequencies that we interact with, because we are antenna.
The sad reality is that where we now play our music is in A440. Where did that come from? It used to be 417. A440 came in with the Roman Catholic Church. They suppressed the frequencies. They lost somehow the 152 of the best Gregorian chants, including the hymn to St. John the Baptist, which we've now recovered. That particular hymn was what triggered Dr. Palaio's investigation, looking for those frequencies of vibration by which the music was played. It was known as the most uplifting hymn of all the ages, the most spiritually uplifting hymn. Hymn to St. John the Baptist. It was played to 6 tones. These are those 6 tones. These are those 6 frequencies. And so the A440 is what now is the standard tuning. If you go A439, you're closer to one of the Creator's tones. If you go A441, you're closer to one of the Creator's original tones. That's how precisely it has been manipulated. To do what? To shut down the 95% of your brain, particularly the right brain that operates the heart mind for the divine human community.
Some decades ago, there was a guy who worked out the frequencies of different emotional states. This is long ago. I mean, it's very, very sophisticated now. So every thought, every emotional response is a frequency. It generates a frequency, and it is of itself a frequency. Hate is a frequency, and it's different to love. You know, when you are in a room and there's lots of aggression and conflict and hatred, you feel it. What do people say? Oh God, you can cut the atmosphere with a knife in there. That is because the frequencies of hate and conflict have been so generated, they have changed the electromagnetic field of the room.
When you go driving your car and your channel on the radio is tuned to a station and you're grooving to the music, you love that music. As you get farther and farther away from the broadcasting tower, that music gets static. You start to lose the signal from the clear channel, broadcast, and it gets staticky. When it gets staticky, you get a little annoyed. But you want to listen to it. You really have a heart for that music, so you continue to listen to it for another 10, 15 miles, and suddenly it becomes so annoying that you just get disgusted, you go, and you shut it off. And if you continue to listen to it, you get sick. That's what we're talking about here. Except you don't even know that you've been listening to the static your whole life. You don't even know what the true resonant frequency is because it has been kept from you.
Now, of course, to really be effective, we need to use the proper words and phrases, scientifically selected. But that gives you the basic idea. We embed messages just below the threshold of perception, so they can go directly into the subconscious.
They can play across a community these frequencies without anyone knowing, and it starts to have an effect, and it starts to build rage, it starts to build anger, and people might not realize why they're feeling it, but they start to feel it. And then what they do is they trigger that with an event. Maybe some guy is attacked by the police or something, or somebody's arrested for something they didn't commit, and now there's the trigger. The blue touch paper has been lit of this manufactured frequency-driven rage, and you have mass riots and what have you, and people do things that they wouldn't normally do.
So in other words, the master composer, master conductor of the Universal Orchestra is singing love songs in 5/8, uplifting everything simultaneously. And we're the only species out of tune and accepting static for the clear channel.
Do you know that the American military, they've admitted this. They have technology that fires frequencies at the enemy that basically breaks the enemy's spirit, so they give up and put their weapons down. This is the technology we're dealing with.
So if you play Connect the Dots and you see this stuff, they even tell you in the music videos what's happening in the world right now. If you've watched the videos I've done in the World Economic Forum and things like that, they've talked about connecting human beings to technology. Klaus Schwab, and people are like, what does that have to do? Oh, I don't know. Your president's there. Joe Biden, your prime minister, Justin Trudeau, whatever country and your world leader, representative are at these meetings with these people. And they sit there and they tell you that there's going to be a great reset. And people are like, oh, okay. What do you think, Joe? They're just showing up there to make face. They're flying around the world all the way to Davos to just smile and take pictures. They're plotting against you, against humanity. And the goal is to connect people to technology, not for the betterment of technology. It's to do with the mark of the beast. This has to do with controlling you. That's all they care about, is controlling you. That's what's happening right now, is about control. People are like, they don't care. Why? Because Bill Gates comes on TV and he's like, if people think I want to chip you and follow you around like I care what you're doing. Oh, they care all right. They care all right. Why do they care? Not because they want to watch you and touch themselves watching you. They care because, one, they don't want to lose the control that they have. They want to be able to control everybody's movements, everybody, not just through mind control, literally control you, like marching soldiers. They care because if they are inside your mind and they know what you're thinking at all times, then they can be protected and make sure that nobody comes after them when they realize what they've done and what they're doing. But at this rate, obviously nobody's going to figure it out because nobody wants to pay attention to it, and they all think it's a crazy conspiracy, so they continue to just go, man, something feels really wrong with what's going on in life. Something doesn't feel right. But I'll continue texting away and doing things even though I feel depressed, miserable, and I can't figure out why. I have a boyfriend or a husband, and I just feel miserable and nothing's satisfying me. It's because you're living in oblivia. It's because they're controlling you, not just with frequencies, they're controlling you with mind control operations that are doing this to you, and your soul is fighting against it. It's trying to come out of her, come out of this beast, this harlot that it's in. So this video shows you exactly what's occurring. And it's a stupid video, right? It's a Cardi B video. Nobody really cares. But this is them showing you stuff in plain sight. That's what all these videos do. So I constantly always talk about this stuff. I remember when I first started, people were like, oh, it's just for clickbait. These videos don't show up for clickbait. Okay? Like you don't get, oh, I want to go watch a review of a Cardi B video. I show you this because this is them programming these people out there, showing them what's happening right in their faces. It's the equivalent of going somewhere, going to the store, and you give a guy a $100 bill at the dollar store, and you buy like one piece of candy that's $1, and you put your hand out for change, and he holds the middle finger up to your face and smiles. That's what they do. They just hold their middle finger up at all of us by doing this and showing it. And this is how magic works. There is a spell that is being cast upon everyone, everywhere. And music is one of the main ways they do it. This goes back, and don't tell me, back when I used to listen to music, this has been going on, and, since they've controlled the music, right? What I read before, Satan about being the prince of the air, music coming through the air. This goes back to even the Beatles and the Tavistock Institute and backmasking with Stairway to Heaven and all that stuff. This is part of how they operate. Massive witchcraft, massive sorcery that the Bible warns against being put on the masses. So this shows you everything right here in plain sight. Not hard to see if you actually pay attention to it. Pretty amazing that they have the balls to do this. And trust me, Cardi B has balls. You know what I mean? But literally, pretty amazing that people still don't see it. And they just, this thing just gets labeled as art. And then they're just like, I want to be like Cardi B. And you're like, do you even hear what these people rap about or sing about? What they say? The pointless nothingness that comes out of their mouths? No, they don't. They're just like, you're just jealous and a hater because they're so talented. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Because we all, those of us who are not under mind control, we strive to be like these losers. And these people are miserable too. These celebrities, they're miserable. All they want is fame and fortune. And they still have handlers and this stuff. They're miserable people because they know that they're only famous deep down inside because they're being pushed by their handlers. In the mainstream, they would be nothing. They'd be doing nothing. They'd be talentless nothings, which is fine, which is an okay thing to just be a regular person. But I mean, they'd be below that because they're on autopilot too. But they're telling you what's going on. And they're the ones who are making these videos. They're just standing there. But they know what's up. They're in on it. They're the influencers. They just don't really have any say. They're the lowest level puppets that there really are. But they have more power than most of these other people because they persuade the people. So that's why they're important to the elites. I thank everyone for being here. I hope you're enjoying the new channel. Appreciate you all greatly. God bless you and your families.